what I know every business owner dreams of, right? How we are using neuropathy patient recruitment to effortlessly scale to 116K per month in 5 months. This is one of our clients who I'm mentioning. What I'm going to be covering is there's going to be a bunch of free bonuses if you stay till the end. I'm going to be covering exactly copy and paste what our really the whole formula to copy and paste our $1.8 million per year neuropathy practice. So exclusive bonus if you stay till the end, $47 bonus, where you could steal a lot of what we're doing that has made us very successful building our neuropathy practice. Strictly doing neuropathy, $1.8 million per year, closed down a $400K per year chiropractic practice to do so. Built it from the ground up, 0 to 1.8 in 3 years. For those of you guys that stay till the end, there will be an exclusive offer as well. The number one problem I see most practices dealing with who are scaling a neuropathy office, this is really what it comes down to. When we're growing a neuropathy practice, the biggest thing I see is, really just playing a game, but never being taught the rules. And what I mean by that is, I'm sure a lot of you guys can probably relate. Neuropathy more than most, yielding what seems to be fake emails, fake names, fake phone numbers. I'm talking about the people that fill out a form and you're not sure if they're even real humans, or if your marketing company or Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg is just sending you random names, emails, and phone numbers. Probably from your experience, marketers telling you maybe you dropped the ball. You guys aren't calling the leads enough, right? We're not a good closer. They're good patients, right? More marketing, is really what happens. The marketing companies tell you to market more. That's the consultants are telling us we got to market more, spend more money on ad spend, blog more, shoot videos, right? Add more equipment to the practice to scale the practice. And so most people, what I tend to see with really scaling a neuropathy practice, driving a lot of patients, is they tend to believe in the current marketplace is screaming at the top of their lungs, we need to be seen more. We need more patients. We need more leads, right? We need more people coming to the office, right? And a lot of times what they're really missing, just letting people in as we go here. But the problem is not really that we're not being seen enough. And this is what I've found from now doing this, working with, hundreds of practices, easily over 100 plus neuropathy practices. In your patient's eyes, is it possible if you guys are getting a bunch of leads online, people walking into your office, people calling and not picking up the phone, is it possible that maybe they just don't think that we can help them? The tons of leads or the no call, no shows, people not booking appointments, people walking into the door but not signing up for care, super skeptical, right? Or maybe they have the money, but they're just like, hey, I need to think about it. I need to talk to my spouse. I need to talk to my partner, right? I need to go home and do whatever else. What if it was really that these patients walking into our offices just don't think we could really help them? They don't think that it would be worth the investment. And so maybe we're attracting the low barrel, low, poor quality leads, sure. And also that just all the people coming in, right? Just aren't really seeing what we can do for them. Insanity, as we all know, is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. How could we continue to do the same thing over and over 10, 12, 15 times with different companies, and expect a different result? And so what I'm going to break down for you guys today literally spins this on its head. It's the complete opposite of everything you've probably heard or even done before. Everything most people are preaching. The old model is simply broken. It can work, but it's very slow. It's very challenging. It's linear, if anything. And truthfully, I see most offices fail more often than they actually succeed with it. So we're going to tackle scaling a neuropathy practice a lot more strategically. This will take some work, right? This isn't a cookie cutter Band-Aid solution, just like we teach our patients, right? We're not telling them to go take gabapentin, right? It's the same thing here, right? But when it works, it's going to be more thorough, but when it works, it works. This is just some folks who are using what I'm talking about here today, neuropathy patient recruitment. This is just in the last few weeks alone. If you guys could see this, this is a brand new office here. This is inside of our client or our team group chat here, our team Discord community, where Attain Health had 5 conversions last week, 5 new neuropathy patients last week alone. They literally just added neuropathy to their office, or they were doing it insurance-based. They just changed to a cash program, never sold a cash program before, never did any sort of high ticket. This doc is rocking it. Last 7 days, closed 4 new patients in 5 weeks. They've collected 36 grand, almost 40 grand. And you can see at the bottom, a screenshot from our actual tracking dashboard. Robin shared $1,871 in actual ad spend. Pretty impressive results. That's about a 20x return on investment, return on ad spend right there alone. And that would be one thing if I was just like, hey, this doc killed it. But that's the reality for so many other offices who've just in a few months exploded their collections with the NPRM. And so here's our another client, Dr. G and Caroline. Same thing. These are not like, these docs work hard, I will tell you that. But they didn't start in like a very impressive place or anything like that. Closed 12 patients in 1 month, 12 patients, and they're just kind of going ahead and kicking it off, 12 new patients with their neuropathy program. And so we literally have so many different offices coming in, pretty quickly adding an extra 20, 30K per month in neuropathy, even 50K plus with what I'm going to share with you guys by really just copy and pasting a system that we've seen work in so many practices before. Another office here, 4 new patients in a week, $42,000 in neuropathy, $1,959 in ad spend. I'm pretty sure that was actually, looking at this now, that must have been the whole month. So about $500 in ad spend to drive that. What I'm going to explain, this another office. We literally just shot a video with these guys. They had been for 10 years chasing their goal of breaking 50K per month in their practice. They've got a couple things going on, decompression, like some chiropractic. They've got neuropathy. And we started with them literally 4 months ago, and they've been scaling up. Last month, they had a record month. They were chasing 50K, had never broken it for 10 years. The doc basically had a chip on his shoulder to break this 50K a month mark. They not only broke 50K, they literally broke in their first month 73 freaking K, like 50% more. Like, I was blown away. And these guys too, spending like I think I looked, they're spending like 2 or 3 grand in ad spend. 25K, they hit 50K for the month, and then 1 week closing an extra 25K that last week. I just got off with them. March, all they told me is March is treating them very well already too. So they're not slowing down anytime soon. And so, you know, I hear it all the time when I'm talking with docs, right? You know, my market's different, it's too competitive, I've tried everything, right? It doesn't work for me, or it's not gonna work for me, or I can't charge those prices, right? I see a lot of guys, especially with neuropathy, undercharging. And so I just really want to portray, you know, everything, right? Everything. I'm going to break down, just like I was mentioning, the core problems I was bringing up, because really it comes down to scaling. It's number 1, not enough leads. Number 2, not enough booked appointments from those leads, right? Number 3, a low show rate from those booked appointments. Low conversion rate of those shown appointments, right? Or just low collections and profits from those conversions, right? That's really all it is. And we could say maybe some maintenance, some retention on the back end, right? For neuropathy cases, but that's really all it is we could kind of boil it down to these 5 different things that really are what drives a neuropathy practice. And so just like how we see how we treat neuropathy, I see most people treating these problems like symptoms, right? Let me just throw some gabapentin on that, some Lyrica here, right? Low show rate, let me get a credit card on file, right? Not enough leads, let me drop the price, let me make it cheaper. the truth is all this stuff works. Everything I'm sharing here, we do it for our clients, right? And it works, but this alone won't solve most problems. And this alone creates very linear, static growth. And just to do this, like, it has to be dialed. Like, I've got Karen here. You see the Think Bullish logo on her picture. She's our rock star setting manager. She works her tail off to keep those credit cards getting on file, people getting called. Like, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And so where I see this really, rock, like, it has to be dialed. But that alone, I've just seen, will not do it. And so at best, like, you're going to get linear growth, meaning it's slow, it's methodical, until you really, you can't make the price more aggressive, call any more times, put any more cards on file, and the competition stirs up. So I'm just like, I've been now in this game for almost 7 years, and I've seen the trend where the marketing is just getting more and more challenging for most offices. And so if there's not a radical change, like, I guarantee we're going to sit down in 2 years and it's going to be a totally different space, right? Because you can't drop the price any less than free, right? You can't get any more credit cards on file, right? Or call 300 more times, especially with all the spam blockers and everything else coming out. The text message restrictions that will be here in a couple of years, right? The email restrictions we're already seeing more of, right? And more people jumping into these types of models. So it will slow down if it's not really addressed. And so we have to go to the root of the problem, and that's how we create this type of diagram. And this is what I know every business owner dreams of, right? Linear growth, static growth, like, scale the practice over a couple of years, or like precision, I just mentioned, who was at this place the same way for years and years and years, and they plug in, and I don't know exactly their numbers, but I mean doubled, if not more, their practice in overnight, basically in a couple months, right? Exponentially. So the real reason why so many people are filling out these forms on landing pages but not actually picking up the phone and booking appointments, right? If we analyze this objectively and really dig into this, these people filled out a form on advertising, right? They filled out a form. Like, that's insane. So the most common thing, like it's not common, I think we could all agree, right? Jonathan, Dr. Mays in the house. I think we could all agree it's not too common to be filling out a form on advertising, right? It's not something, it's just that we're like, it has to be pretty serious intent for people to do so, you would think, right? Let alone, a typical neuropathy patient, right? Maybe someone 50, 70 years old, a woman dealing with it, right? How could these folks give us their name, email, and phone number and then just not respond? Like, it doesn't make sense. And I'll get to the financial component too, because it ties back to the same exact thing, which I'm going to share in a second. But how could they schedule with us and not show, right? Like, these people, you get them on the phone, they even book an appointment or they book online to a medical office, right? You would think they're high value, like value your time in some way, and then just don't show up. Like, it's outrageous. And so this is the current model. And so I just want to prove a point. Let's look at this. And I don't have any relationship to the offices I'm sharing. I just pulled this online, but like, I just want to break this down for a second. Like, if we look at this, how many of you guys, if you guys had neuropathy, were suffering from it, would click on this ad, fill out a form, give them your name, email, phone number, walk into the office, call even here, and then sign up for treatment? And your neuropathy pain, we're taking appointments right now, groundbreaking treatment, stop with medications and creams, right? It's not terrible. But those of you guys who are already running ads, I'd imagine if you guys are, it probably looks a lot like what you might be running. This is a lot like what everyone's running. Let's look at this. Like, the big thing I'm trying to portray is I don't notice what makes these guys different, right? Free neuropathy screening, initial consultation, full thermography scan, neuropathy severity report. I mean, I might fill out the form, but when push comes to shove, and time comes to put on my shoes and drive over to that office and come to that appointment, like, are you going, right? And let me break this down, because this is how advertising really works. What about when you fill out the form and then the office takes 24 hours to respond? Maybe they respond quicker, but maybe, the office takes 24 hours to respond, or a couple hours to respond, right? What about when they take time to respond, but then after the patient fills out that form, Facebook, Meta, Google, all these other sources send the patient 4 other ads that look the exact same way, and they go ahead and fill those out too. And now they're getting contacted by 4 or 5 different offices with the same ad, and they don't know who they even signed up for. Only the other offices maybe reach out a little bit quicker or text a little bit more. Let's say they schedule with your office, right? They fill out your form first, they schedule with your office. But then they see 4 other ads. But then they find out one of them's closer, right? Are they gonna schedule with that office? Are they then gonna call you, even though they don't know much about your office, to cancel the appointment before they come in, or are they just not gonna show up, right? Or are they just gonna forget about it? And there's a myriad of things that could happen in each of these scenarios, but I'm just trying to paint this picture. How would you choose, right? Which office to go to if you were gonna show up? I mean, you've already been to 6 different, the best neuropathy patients, right? They've already been to 6 different doctors who told them they couldn't help them, or told them they could and then didn't, right? Like, are they even trusting that you can when push comes to shove and they have to get out, get dressed, get over to the office? Or would you just be overwhelmed, right? Confused, thinking no one can help you, right? There's so many different offices to choose from, not really sure what to do. And if you were to book an appointment and then get called, just like I said, all of these ads have one big thing in common that I really want to portray. They're indicative of the entire campaign, the marketing flows for these offices. They look the same. And let's be honest, in marketing, perception is reality, right? If they look the same in your patient's eyes, they are the same. I had to find a good example. And to my dismay, I searched the internet, and there was a whole article on this, how to become a fake influencer. I was trying to find someone with some rented Lamborghinis and things like that, but I didn't do too much digging. But listen, I mean, there's articles on how to become a fake influencer, how to portray yourself differently online. Like, it's perception is reality, right? How you guys appear, how practices are appearing to their patients, like, is literally how the patients are perceiving us, right? And so in marketing, there's one concept to break through the noise based on human behavior. Right now, we're in the post-trust era. And so it's been reported, trust right now in this country, and I know there's a study that was done in the United States. I'm sure, honestly, like, for those of you guys in Canada and around the world, like, it's been reported that trust is at an all-time low. This is a report from the United States measuring people's trust in others as well as the government. And you could see it's declined over the last 40 somewhat years, 50 years. And there hasn't been like an increase where it really bounced back. It's been trending down as technology has grown, right? And all the other things going on, right, politically and what have you. But quite interesting. We've officially entered what people are calling the post-trust era, the trust recession. And according to this graph, like, it doesn't look like it's necessarily going to improve anytime soon. And so if you don't look new and unique, you'll truly never break through the noise. And with trust being lower than ever, it's going to be very tough to build a relationship with your patients and everyone else online. So when you look the same as everyone else, it simply just becomes a question of convenience, right? Who's the cheapest? Who's the closest to me, right? Who is the cheapest offer? Or better yet, people are so confused, right? If it just all looks the same, it's just noise and just no action, inaction. Unsure of what to do, who to do it with, just like everyone else they've tried in the past or things they've done in the past, right? And so to even get their intention and get them further along with more engagement in the process, the newness and differentiation is really important. But I want to portray, right? If you guys just look new and unique, that alone will not fix it. If you guys, for example, are new and different, but have 12 one-star reviews, you know how many patients are gonna 12 of 13, or let's say, 200 one-star reviews and one positive 5-star reviews. Maybe unless you're like Enterprise or whoever gets away with those types of things, it's probably not going to sit too well with your patients. People today are relying more and more than ever, I'm sure you guys have seen it with your patients, on reviews and social proof. And so neuropathy treatments are no different. And that's why continuing to market as what I would say is the number 3 neuropathy doctor just won't work. No one's searching for that. But that's what every office is portraying online. They look like the number 3 doctor in the area. They look the same as everyone else. So it's quite interesting what happens when you actually show up new, unique, different, and superior from all other options. The leads that are no longer engaged, that filled out the form and you're not sure if they're even real people, all of a sudden actually pick up the phone. When you text them or don't, they chase you down. When you book them for an appointment, they actually show up. You could have all the other systems and stuff, and like we still do it, like I mentioned, the credit cards on file and all that other stuff. But when you're actually positioned as superior, new, different, unique, it's a whole lot easier. When they show up in the office and they actually see you as that, they're pre-sold and they convert. Easier, faster, better. You're not like basically arm wrestling them in the consult room to go ahead and sign them up for care. This is the core thing. If this is not addressed, everything else won't, like you're arm wrestling with your marketing, with growing your practice, with everything. It's very, very hard to grow. And that's why, right? When I look at most practices, the thing that they've done and tried in the past, it usually comes back to the same thing. And it's not just the ad I want to portray. It's the whole process. It's the positioning, how everything's built. And so if you look like everyone else, not new or unique, not superior, just like I was saying, you're going to get those no-call, no-shows. You're not an expert. And I want to also push, right? Because I think one of the other big things I see is every doctor I speak to, they say, hey, I want more people showing up in my office. I want more new patients. And the other thing they say is, I want more new patients that have money, right? I want them walking in with the folks that actually have the money, right? Who can afford treatment, right? And so sophisticated people, the people who have money, are going to respond to a different ad, a different message than those who don't, right? Like, think about it. Like, I'm asking you guys all jumping on here, doctors, more sophisticated, white collar compared to the rest of the population, right? What ads are you guys responding to? Because of course, that's the ideal person we want to attract, right? Some folks might actually respond to everything, and they might actually book appointments and not show up, right? But if we target the people that are actually a little bit more affluent, have a little bit more money, right? More sophisticated, they're responding to a different ad. It's interesting how it all ties together, right? But if you show up, if you're positioned, if you look high value, all of a sudden you're attracting those folks that are more high value. And just like I'm saying, I mean, this is everything. This is everywhere. Like the core thing that if not addressed, like this affects it all. I'm sure you guys have had these folks where they walk into your office and you wonder why they're even in your office, right? They're so darn skeptical, it doesn't even make sense. So this really, it all just comes back to the core concept. That I call, that's skepticism. If we were to put that in one word, skepticism, which really is, I don't trust you, right? I don't believe that you can help me, right? And so this will cause, and I'm sure some of you guys have probably even seen this, even the best doctors, the best guys in their consult, their exam, their reportifying, closing and starting patients to struggle. And I'm telling you, like I said before, like it's gonna get worse as competition grows, the economy changes, especially right now, election year, right? Political uncertainty. But that's why those who harness this power and lean into this will grab more market share than they can possibly imagine, right? Be the number one go-to neuropathy doctor in the area. That's the only, I mean, if you guys can take anything from this training, if that's the only thing, that alone will push you guys forward. And so this is just one example. Dr. Sanan over here, started with us in 5 months, literally broke through his ceiling, exploded 47K to 116K per month in 5 months, not spending a fortune on ad spend, just killing it with neuropathy. 10 to 15K cases, bumped up his pricing, plugged in a new system for the entire, like the copy and paste system. And with the patient recruitment method, exploded it with neuropathy, better positioning and everything. Here's really what this looks like, right? To truly become the #1 doctor, getting more patients than we could possibly imagine. Patient recruitment method. And this is what it looks like. This is what I'm talking about, where it's more than the ad is the first step. The ad is the foundation. The ad won't land right without first setting up the positioning, right? How to actually look, appear, be the #1 doctor. Most of the doctors I know I speak to, they all tell me they know their stuff is good. They know they can help their patients, right? But your patients don't know that. Your community doesn't know that, right? And so setting up in a way that actually shows them, proves them, portrays that on the front end is really important. What we've done is we've modeled this entire system. We've modeled the largest recruitment companies. If you look at the biggest hiring funnels, this is what they look like. #1 strategy, right? Sun Tzu said, basically the fastest way to defeat is not having a strategy. Tactics without strategy, right? #2, traffic. Yes, run recruitment advertising, run some ads, right? But they have to be done correctly. I hear guys tell me all the time, just do Facebook ads still work? Facebook ads still work. YouTube ads work. Google ads work. TV ads work. Radio ads work. They all work. SEO works. We send them to an intake application. The big thing with positioning, with showing up as a #1 doctor, is if you're allowing everyone into your consult room, people don't believe you're #1. And honestly, I mean, besides the fact that we're wasting our time seeing every patient that has a pulse, right? Like, it doesn't help us showing up as the superior positioned authority in the space. #3 is before they see the doctor, like they should have an interview. We should see if they're a candidate in the same way we hire. How many of you guys hire and as soon as you get an application, you send them a job invite? You've hired them, hiring invitation, right? What about after the first screening interview? Do you guys hire right after the first screening interview? Or do you usually, go on a couple dates before you marry the person? Invite them on your team, right? Like, this is the same way. The goal of this, what we're trying to do here and what this is designed to do is we want patients coming into the office asking us to start, not the other way around. And so number 4, so we'd send them through an interview, right? We could ask them about their financials, their severity, a whole bunch of different things, right? But the idea is we're interviewing them. We're seeing if they're a fit. #4, which is one of the biggest, virtual seminar is really big. You guys could sell all day in the consult room and, it could be the arm wrestle to start care, or we could leverage online tools and strategies and be far more successful. The virtual seminar was designed to do is position you as the #1 doc, right? In the same way. When they're going ahead and they're going online, they fill out a form, they fill out an application, they speak to someone maybe, they book an appointment, they never hear from you. It's a lot different than all of a sudden they see a whole training, and we educate them on what we do, how we do it, why we're different, why we're better, all these different things. Intake assessment. This is one of the big things for conversions, for case acceptance, for that positioning. And then the whole steps in office and ascension and advocacy. We do a lot of advertising. I love advertising. Advertising, you can kick on an ad and scale up pretty quick. But this is relevant for everything. And the key way for this to really work is it should be everywhere. This isn't just your Facebook ad, your Google ad. Like, this is everything. This is the whole brand. This is everything. So really, really important. This is how we show them they can trust us. We prove to them that we're number one on the front end and all throughout the process, and we build that trust. Starts by showing up as number one, because that's the only person that they know they can trust. It's really important to add value, and there's so many different ways to add value rather than just looking like Groupon. And like, that's really what it is. When we just run this discount offer, but there's no more meat to the bone, that's what it looks like. Just Groupon, discount. Not necessarily someone who's gonna fix my condition that I've had for 15 years, has me risking and fearing that I'm going to get my feet amputated. Karen Greenspan here broke 167K per month with $3,700 in ad spend using the PRM. When you guys do this effectively, ad spend gets far more profitable. Like, the return on ad spend becomes insane. These guys, Karen actually is a rock star. She's part of our program right here. Cut her ad spend in half. She had been through the runaround, worked with a lot of other companies prior. We plugged her into the PRM. She doubled her shows and scaled up incredibly. Jimmy McKinney here was giving away pillows before we plugged him in. New to neuropathy, was doing more chiropractic, but broke 100K per month in his 8th month. Bucks in ad spend as well. Nurse Jane, Dr. Peasley over here, $1 million cash from 3K in ad spend per month over a 16-month period using the PRM for neuropathy. I mean, they literally spent whatever that is, 48 grand in ad spend and collected $1 million in additional revenue for their practice, $1 million cash. And so without doing this, I'm just gonna really push home, like, it's gonna get worse. If you guys have been in the game for a couple of years, advertising 2 years ago is a lot different than it is now. 4 years ago, far different than 2 years, far different than now, right? We've been treating neuropathy in our practice for, I think, a good 8 or so, and the game has totally changed. More competition, truthfully, more disconnected patients, right? Less trusting. And so, how can you start trusting people when you're tied to a device every day and not interacting with them, right? This thing right here. Screen time's increasing. And that's why those who take advantage of this and recognize the pattern will be a part of the biggest wealth transfer in history. You guys, I know, as business owners, are all familiar. A recession is, my richest friends love a good recession, right? They love a good recession. Right? There's no hiding that the gap between the rich and the poor is growing. And so, like, I don't think I have to be super political or anything to say there's stuff going on here and around the world that people are concerned about. I showed you the diagram where there's less trust than ever in the United States, in our country. And so those who step up now will find it, those who don't will find it more and more challenging. Those who do are certainly going to succeed. So this is a huge time, being where we are. Ad space is literally on sale, right? And people are looking for leadership. They're really looking for someone to step up and help them. And so I just want to encourage you guys to really step up and do so. And so at this point, really, there's 3 options. Option 1, do nothing, right? I hate this option. Stay where you are, right? The last 2 years could be like the next 2, the last 4, 5, 6. I'm a firm believer, if we're not growing, we're dying, right? Business is a living organism. Option 2, do this yourself. I gave you guys the roadmap. You guys can study this, like, this works. I could go back, you guys could snap a picture, like, plug in as the #1 doctor, it works. Do it yourself. It'll take a long time to really plug in, to really dial in, if not years to figure out. Burn through tons of money in the process, staff, ad spend, right? The whole 9 yards. We've spent $7 million in ad spend doing this, right? Over the last 7 years. All while, like, you could be plugging in pretty quickly and getting results, just like those other folks that I shared with you. Option 3, work with us. Got a killer team. If you're hungry and want to grow, we'll do all this for you. We'll get you set up as the #1 doc. We'll plug in all 10 of those steps.
We'll do everything as far as, rebrand the entire practice, and a whole bunch of other stuff with the patient recruitment method, and get you guys rocking to the same numbers I shared, if not beyond. You guys will plug into our $1.8 million practice, copy and paste the neuropathy patient recruitment system directly into your office, and start scaling pretty fast. So I'm going to drop this in the chat. If you're interested, we could jump on a free call here. This is directly on my calendar. Go ahead and book a time, and we could see if it's a good fit. I'm going to share too. I've got one bonus, but I do just want to share with you guys a quick story first. You guys are going to appreciate this bonus though. I kid you not. This is the office. I got off with these folks today. Christina Hansen here. She's out of Laguna Hills. Many would say it's a pretty competitive market right south of LA.
Could you just quickly give us a little background? Tell us a little bit about your
husband is the chiropractor. We've been partnering up with you guys with Think Bullish. One of the things that led us to you guys, and we've been chasing this collections number for about 10 years now. And you'll have to remind me, Zach, when we began with you guys, but February was our biggest month in collections in practice history. And so we hit our goal of 50,000 and then some, because we hit 73. So we're pretty
so you were just telling me, but let me just clarify this one more time. So you guys were chasing for 10 years 50,000 in collections.
Yep.
And you guys not only hit that last month in February for the first time, but you guys hit 73 in the same month.
Yep, correct. We hit 50,000 by like halfway through February.
That's so amazing.
Yeah. And fun to do on a leap year and a short month, so.
I just had to share that. I'm so thrilled, so happy. They're 4 months in. So if you guys are interested, my link is in the chat. Book a call there. We do have a $150,000 guarantee. If you book on this call, we'll guarantee $150,000 in revenue, literally no risk. I'm helping you plug this in with your neuropathy practice. You'll get access to everything I shared, the whole 10 steps. We've got a bunch of different programs where we'll help you guys really dial it in pretty quickly. And so go there. The link is in the chat. Just click there. You'll be directed to a form, fill it out, and then you can book a call. Quick bonus for you guys as well now. For those who do want to scale, I wasn't going to do this at all. Caleb on the call was like, hey man, you have to. I was like, dude, I do not want to give this away. This thing, I'm kid you not, like it is good. The best script you've probably ever seen. We tied various different coaching programs we've been through over the years, tons of testing, tons of refinement. This is not a script that's like, I just wrote up. Like this has actually closed millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars in new business. This is one of the key things that we also plug in our clients into, where it's word for word scripting that they plug in, they show up to the consults and they convert pretty darn well. I mean, Sanan, I just showed you 5 months, not really selling care plans and exploding, bunch of other docs. Like this thing works. So for $47, you can copy and paste our exact word for word scripting, consult, exam, report of findings, a whole bunch of other nuggets in there that you'll pick up. I won't even mention, but you'll get it for $47 one-time pay. Of course, I'm not really making money off this. It's just, you guys can grab it. It kind of just proves we know what we're doing. So hopefully from there, you can book a call thereafter. We'll do a free audit as well. But my hope is really just going to show you, hey, this is the real deal. And if you want to get started thereafter and discuss that, we can plug into your practice. But if not, this thing you could run with it, you could plug into your office, and it will work for you. So click on that link. I will say it expires at 11:59 tonight because I seriously don't want to give this thing away, but it is really good, and you guys will appreciate it. So click on that link, and you can rock. This is the script we give our clients actually for free as part of our program. Yeah, we have a ton of spinal decompression offices too, Ron. We do in our practice, we do my dad has another practice where we do decompression and neuropathy a lot. We do some functional medicine too, but yeah, we crush it with decompression. Very similar process. If not, I mean, decompression honestly might even be a little bit more competitive, if anything. Maybe less people are marketing it, but pretty competitive where it's more important. If you guys do grab this, I will just say too, you're gonna hit this page. I'll drop in the chat one more time. If you go to this link, you'll see a page like this. You can see it's $47. Heck, if you buy this thing and you're not happy, you can email us, email me, text us, email us, whatever. We'll just refund you. We're not making money, like I said, on the $47. But I promise you, you guys will be thoroughly impressed. And find a lot of value with it. Beyond even the scripting, there's other things you'll find in there too that are unique and work well. But you can fill out this order form. You'll be directed thereafter to my calendar. With this, I'm doing a free 7-point audit of the practice. It's not like a hard sale. It's not a sales call at all. Just seriously a 7-point audit of your neuropathy practice, the holes, the bottlenecks, and everything to scale it up to these 7-figure levels. We'll do that completely for free as well. So if you fill out this form, you can grab that, and then you'll get the free call there as well. You'll just be directed there. And then I'll just be manually, I don't have any fancy automation set up for this because it's a last minute thing, but I'll just be manually shooting this out to you guys later this evening or tomorrow. We've got a ton of other case studies as well that you guys could check out. If you click the success page, this is that Dr. Sanan. We actually walk through here behind the scenes a lot of his campaign. At least the screening part, I believe I cover. But he goes through, it's a pretty cool interview. He talks about literally his numbers month by month, scaling from 47 to 116K per month. And so I share a little bit of a story, and you guys can go through that. Dr. Jimmy as well. The actual text messages and stuff from him. Fairwood over here, Medical Center Plus. Doc actually just got word he just sold his practice today. I think he probably did pretty well. But pretty cool story. He scaled up. This was years ago we shot this, but he's been doing well now, adding a couple other services, neuropathy being one of them. Novus Health, we brought them 2 to 6 locations. Sacramento. So you guys feel free to also check this out. There's tons of case studies and testimonials and stuff. I'll show you. This is actually
if you could open it up, Karen, if you could maybe just start by
they start out.
So this is one of our neuropathy coaches, also Cash Medical. She's actually designed a lot of the script I'm sharing based on her practice building to 1.8 million. She's designed a lot of our neuropathy program, along with what we've done to help her scale her office. But you could actually hear her story.
Bangers, and then very quickly, it's bad. Month period to where I was like, okay, we've got to change this. Time and energy, and the only answer was, so our ROI went exponentially up. So that's kind of about like where we were at before I, thank God, found y'all. And another thing, there was basically no customer service. Again, the last people we used had the best customer service, but still there wasn't immediate accessibility or immediate answers to problems or any organized training on what an IO is or a high level account or whatever the particular Facebook advertising group calls it. Mm-hmm. So because I had no experience in this. Our staff had no experience in this. We kind of were like trial and error, and that costs a lot of time and energy when you're paying somebody a lot of money to.
Ron, I'll touch on that with you. Ron asked what makes our ads so different and unique. I'll push that's the first step of that's the first piece, which is really important because there's a lot to it, a lot more than just the ad. But if I go back to this here, like I think we could pretty safely say this is what most advertising looks like. Like it's just, there's nothing unique and catchy about it. And so what we do differently is it has to be positioned as unique and different. There's a whole bunch that goes into that, you know, with copy. This is usually, I mean, probably 4 or 5 times longer, believe it or not, and just thoroughly built out, very strategically built out. The videos here, there's a lot of psychology and stuff that goes into it. But the big thing is we're meeting them where they are, very specific in our languaging, very specific about who we are, you know, our story, our brand, our company, what makes us different, who we've helped, how we've helped them. And then the videos and then the whole process is just really refined. And so, I mean, it just comes down to how do you position and prove to folks that you're number one, right? Is really what it comes down to. But I'll tell you, like, the ads being unique, I mean, like, probably the easiest way to explain it is they're longer and more thorough, and more specific, if that makes sense. I think we did a training also on, I did do a training actually on more leads, which I could send you. We did it a couple weeks ago, which might define it a little bit better. A good way to position it also, every office has something that makes what they do very unique. For example, if you go to, if you look at probably one of the best ways to describe it is when you buy a mattress, right? There's mattress companies and then there's Tempur-Pedic, right? Tempur-Pedic is a brand of its own. Tempur-Pedic's not even a mattress. Do you see what I'm saying? It's totally different. It's not even a mattress. It's a freaking Tempur-Pedic. And so most offices, like for decompression, for neuropathy, they sell their lasers, they sell their everything. But it's like other people have laser, and then maybe their ad looks a little bit prettier, and their price is a little bit cheaper, right? But it's like, how do you stand out as totally unique and different and then superior? And Tempur-Pedic's a really good example of that, where they're not even in the same ballgame.
Do a job for you.
Sure. So what was it that made you hire us specifically?
I'll show this this case study. This was pretty cool.
Things I've done in the past, my own Facebook ads. Does that work? Where you based? Kind of what's your? I had so many, slated from marketing agencies. Even like for people coming in, it wasn't just we're having to get you a whole bunch of right. So we took our time to really fill that thing out. Gave anything open.
I see we started in March. It looks like we spent about $200 in ads. So it was like just towards the end of March when we actually went live. Share with me a little bit about your like the actual results you've seen. And I know there were some things we refined over the months, and with the process, with the office, with some of the specifics too. But share with me like what are the results you actually saw since you did go live up until today where we are.
It's gonna take a minute, so load up.
Okay.
So we can come back to that.
Okay, that's cool. So we'll circle back to that. We could dive into the ad stats. That if that's cool.
Yeah.
And maybe before we do, if you're comfortable even touching on like, I know there's a lot like you're saying, so we're kind of owning that process through to the day one beyond. I guess some of the big things that have really you've noticed from working with us that have helped you, or some of the big things that have stood out that might be valuable for some other docs?
Yeah. So the people coming in from Think Bullish, right? They are very well qualified prior to coming. All the awkward conversations or like the things about insurance, or does insurance cover this? How much does it cost? All that's really handled on the front end before they come into the office, right? Which is a big deal, because then we don't have to have those conversations. Now, they still do come up during a consultation, but it's just confirming what they had already heard prior to coming. They know those things. They come in knowing that, you know, they come for those that you can tell for the ones that come in who have watched the videos and gone through the material that you send through text messages, emails, versus the ones who haven't. So that's always a bonus when they do all that. But I mean, for the most part, like they're coming in here, like what I've noticed, it feels like we've been the ones doing the calls and confirming and doing all, but the fact we haven't, it has been you guys taking care of all that. Is actually a great feeling. So they come in and we have their paperwork if they fill it out, or we know they didn't, so we're ready to go, and it just makes it feel like a natural process. And you know, like I said, every once in a while, you know, person will come through, maybe doesn't have neuropathy. It just happens. Nothing's perfect. But that's very few and far between. And here's the thing is, like, if they come in, they don't have neuropathy, for example, they have something that's very similar to it, we still convert them. It just happened last, like, we're still much more likely to. And one thing, you know, that working with you has, I've kind of learned now, and it can take me this long to figure it out, but I've kind of realized that I don't want every single lead that opts in to come. I'd rather them almost like disqualify themselves prior to coming in, because that means they open up that spot for somebody else that really truly does. So what I'm learning is the people that are coming in are ones that actually truly want something, not just tired. This whole process does a really good job working out the tire kickers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that.
And well, the better that process gets, and there's the more people that we're gonna be able to help, and the better we can just all use our time. So the calls that make
Over under 3K in ad spend.
we started $80 a day.
Okay, so that was like 24, yeah. Okay. And then, so spend a little over in April, and then it looks like we bumped it up to about 3. And now just in August, we bumped it up to 8. And I guess there was a little bit, I think this is the overall. Yeah, this is overall. Oh, this is Facebook. And then on the right, we have a little bit of Google spend as well. I know most of what you've gotten has been, I don't think this is actually right, but so this is pretty cool though. So $37 per lead lifetime. These are like unique leads. 177 cost per appointment. I know we added it. I don't think we initially had 3 payments in, which I think is what maybe drove that up. We did. Okay. So 177 though cost per appointment, 278 on average per show. And it looks like on average it's been about $639.85 per.
It's pretty cool. This stock.
10,000. It looks like it went up, I
$50,000
guess, a little bit in August, just maybe increase the ad spend, the lead cost going up. But you've been right around there. You've closed 30 cases, 19K in ad spend. I know you were sending the screenshot. Was that, and this is a little more updated, is that about 200 plus K? I know.
235.
235. Yeah, so actually right here, 232 it looks like. And then 3K still open, unless that was closed recently. 232, 233.20. So you're literally, I mean, you're over a 10x return on just the ad spend. Of course, there's third fees involved here too. But that's pretty phenomenal, especially in just a couple of months. And so if we look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, basically 5 months active, I mean, that's about 40K additional per month in cash. And now we're really scaling. This was 8 cases where I know you're doing more than 40K there, close to 80 plus. So this, right, eight cases. So that means if we're at 8 cases a month, you're driving about $1 million a year from just this service.
That's what it looks like, man, which is kind of crazy to think. You know, I was with numbers, I was like, is for real?
Yeah.
This math working out? Really? So
that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. That gets me excited. I'm super stoked to hear that. And what's really cool too is, so I mean, these are solid numbers. I would love to hear from you because I know we've started scaling. What are your kind of vision, or what do you foresee, you know, going forward for your office and for our partnership as you continue to grow?
right. So this for the rest of this year, so end of August, starting September, really want to finish out at over $1 million collected this year. And again, with so much that's happening from like April move for both first quarters, and then just again, the old saying, work smarter, harder, right? I just want to just keep pouring into what's deep. And, you know, so like you told me, was just going deeper with this versus trying to like spread out a little bit more niches and things. Like let's really hammer this again. And then that's what I'm really kind of like want to do. I just want to just continue to grow this to make it more refined, more predictable, knowing if I spend this, I will get that. Like that's I think as predictable as possible. Keep things just trending in the right direction. So that's why, I mean, I'm booking those calls with Robin weekly or bi-weekly just to make sure things are moving in the right direction. Like for example, I'm going to be gone, you know, for almost 2 weeks in November. So on the call that we're going to have together, I'm like, what do I need to be doing between now and then to make sure that November is dead? So plan for that as much as possible. But no, yeah, I mean, like growing, man, it's just like, let's finish off this year as strong as possible. And then let's really like set an amazing record next year. And
really, really cool stuff. I'll share one more and then I'll close it out here. Just the rest of this, because I was thrilled with everything she shared today.
On a short month of all
brand
months
new.
too. That's phenomenal. Amazing. So tell me a little bit like what happened, because I was looking, the campaign we actually launched around beginning of November.
Okay.
So about February, getting to like, I guess February was basically the 4th month. What did you see really fall into place and happen for you guys to hit and blow past the record you guys did this last month?
Yeah, I think it was a compilation of a couple of things. One was just on our end, Dr. Hansen and I have been taking care of our health. And I think when we're taking care of our health, we exude that energy to our patients. And then we have more bandwidth in the day and like energy in the day to take care of our patients and really show up for them energy wise. So that was one really big thing for us. Also, with Think Bullish, we started to get a lot better leads in the door and like patients in the door who were serious about, okay, I'm in this pain and I really want to do something about it. And that was something that's really great about Think Bullish is you guys help to weed out some of the patients who, you know, want to kind of look and see what's going on, but aren't really necessarily ready to move forward with a treatment plan. But last month specifically, I don't know the exact specifics, but we had a lot of people who were like, yep, I'm ready, do the whole plan, you know, and that's good to see when you see somebody in pain who's willing to do the work to start feeling better.
Amazing. Would you mind sharing too what those plans range from for you?
So we have a couple different options. We have some take-home care options. So a patient can do like a take-home kit. We have 3 different types of therapies that we do here in our office in compilation. So you can kind of mix it up depending on your either your case or your financial ability. So our plans range from about $2,000 up to $9,000. And I think last month we sold, I think at least 2 at the higher range and a couple of the lower range. So it was a good mix of, like I said earlier, just people wanting to definitely make a change and do something about the condition that they're experiencing.
Very cool. Very cool. Awesome. And so, Christina, take me back when we first started, now a number of months ago. If you recall at all, could you just briefly touch, how was the process for you guys, like actually getting started, getting ramped up, and getting things rolling from ground zero?
Yeah, for sure. Easiest company we've ever worked with in the history of working with lead generating and like calling. I don't know what the type of company that's called, but everything was just super seamless. You guys made it super easy. You told us exactly what you needed, what information you needed for us. It made it easy to just send everything to you guys. So the setup was super seamless. Robin was the rep that we worked with specifically and super clear on what was going to happen, how we were going to do it. She helped us set up like the right messaging platform, the right like for collecting payment over the internet, things like that. All of it was just set up and it was super easy. So can't say enough about, and like the professionalism behind it. Like everyone that we work with is super like kind, and Robin always asks like, how's the day going? How was the weekend? Like she's super personable. It doesn't always feel like a business transaction when we're talking on the phone with her. And your reporting system where it shows like our return on investment and things like that is like, I've never seen one like that. It's so thorough and like really breaks down like, so you know, like what have I spent and how much am I returning? So that's awesome.
Super cool. Super cool. Yeah. And so speak to, you know, those people, we get a lot of people, and I'm sure you guys being in practice 10 years, were in the exact same shoes. When you did start with us, they're very skeptical. They get calls 12 times a day from various different companies telling them, you know, they can grow the practice, market, drive patients in. You mentioned a little bit about, you know, that the seamless side of things where we've been able to not only, you know, go ahead and market and drive the patients, but actually also like call and do everything to get them in for neuropathy. Was there anything else when you guys first got started that did stand out to you that really, if you recall, like made you guys pull the trigger and jump in, and you know, maybe even something that you would suggest to those other folks that are on the fence, like you guys, I'm sure were?
For sure. So we've worked with loads of different companies, you know, in our 10 years, like you said. And one thing that super impressed me, which may seem like a little thing, but was how on it Robin was with scheduling calls, meeting, you know, face to face through Google Meet every single week to go over our numbers. If I ever had a question on how to do something, she wasn't sending me a video on how to do it. She was either emailing me or calling me and giving me step-by-step process on how to do it. It's super just personable is the best way for me to say it. And it wasn't just like, okay, for the first 2 weeks, they like bombard you and are so nice, and then they like forget about you 3 weeks later or a month later. We're, what you said, 3-4 months into it, and we talk to Robin every week, you know, and she's on it. She's on us to make sure that we've done what we need to do, which is all easy, by the way. The platform is super easy to handle. We have myself and another assistant working it, and super easy. So like we've worked with other companies who are like totally pedal to the metal for the first 3 weeks, and then you just like you don't ever hear from them again, and you're like, oh, this ad is weird and it's not working. How do we fix this? And it's just crickets. And that's not the case with you guys at all. And another example I can think of is this week, we had a couple of cancellations, and before it even like occurred to me, because we were just busy, Robin's already told me like, we're on it, we're figuring out what's going on, we're making some changes to the marketing so that, you know, your cancellation rate is lower. And so I'm just like, that's amazing that you guys are more you're constantly aware and into what's going on, that I don't have to be on you to do it. So that's great. From a business owner's perspective, we have our hands in so many pots at the same time that if you can hand something off and you can delegate it to somebody else who does it amazingly and better than you would have done it, that's like all you can ask for. And that's truly how I feel about how we feel about Think Bullish.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that you guys have been able to rock it here, and only 4 months in, only the start.
Yeah, for sure.
Is there anything else you'd like to add? Like anything else you feel like we haven't covered, and that someone, you know, maybe on the fence or watching would find valuable?
One thing that I would say is just how easy it is, and I know I've said it a little bit, but you basically never speak to the leads until they come to your office. Like, it's super seamless. The team that you guys have who are calling the leads, messaging the leads, they get all the information. Like, none of our patients get lost. No one doesn't know the information. There's no confusion with like cancellations. We've worked with other companies where like there's a lot of confusion about what time the patient's coming. And then there's like the patient thinks it's this day and it's that day. No, you guys are like on it, and your team, like, you can email your team and say, hey, this FYI, this has happened, and they respond always same day with the solution. So I have nothing but good things to say about that. Because again, from a business standpoint, we're chasing like 100 ducks a day. So like, this is not what I have to worry about. You know, I know that Think Bullish does a good job. I never have to question, well, I wonder if this is a real appointment or if this is like a test appointment. No, it's super seamless. So love it.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Christina.
Yeah, for sure.